Yo, what's up? Honestly, I watched the film. I've been sitting and staring on it for a few days. Can't really be bothered to write a script, so this is just kind of like off the dome. I'm just gonna I need to get my thoughts out regarding this film. I need to express my frustrations regarding the film. Let me just preface by saying that wind is really fucking loud. Jesus Christ. Oh my god, now there's a fucking fly. Get out. Superman 2025 came out during my hiatus last year. I was genuinely going to come out of that hiatus to make a review on that movie. I'm probably going to wait a little bit. I might do it just before Man of Tomorrow comes out. But let me just say, I adore that movie. I think that movie was like the perfect start to this new DC universe, the DCU thing that James Gunn is like the helm of. I also loved Creature Commandos, which is set in the same universe. And I thought, this is it. Surely we're going to follow this momentum. And I was thinking, even if Supergirl's not as good, it's probably still going to be like in that range of those kinds of films where it's like, yeah, they're not really as good as some of the other ones, but they're still fun to watch. That's kind of where I'm at with this. I watched it and I enjoyed it, and I knew leaving that movie, people were going to complain about it. I think Millie Alcock does a great job with what she's given. I'm not going to pretend that I read the fucking comic that it's based off. I'm not going to pretend like I read that because I haven't. I've never read anything Supergirl related. I've never even consumed anything Supergirl related, because what I did know was that this is quite different to what a lot of Supergirl's previous representation has been, and I just kind of wanted to go into it fresh. Apparently it's not that comic accurate. Apparently it's not done justice to the comic it's based on. So, you know, congratulations on that front, I guess. I don't fucking know, like, what was the point in... When they were first promoting this movie, they posted this image of Millie, like, reading it and, like, doing the air fryer face at the camera. What was the point in that, basically? Besides the point, really, though. Just as a movie, it just felt like very Guardians of the Galaxy. So it still felt like James Gunn, but like an imitation of James Gunn, because it's not James Gunn that directed this one. I kind of wish it was. I get he can't direct every fucking movie, but like, this sucks. This fucking sucks, man. I was really hoping the momentum of this universe wouldn't be stumped this early. All the Krypton flashbacks, I think, were actually pretty good. I think every scene with Superman in was also really good. Like, he doesn't steal the show, but it still does feel like... It feels like the Superman from the first movie, not Clark. He isn't that, like, humanized version we get in drips and drabs through his movie. He's that, like, idealized super version of himself where he's very confident and charming. I also really liked the little girl. I genuinely don't remember the character's name. Ruthie, is that the name? I don't know, that's how it's spelled. Anyway, she's probably the most likable character in the movie. I just wish they didn't give her such a stupid accent, man. Like, every emotional moment kind of falls flat because she's got this really pompous British-esque accent that she has to stumble through every line with. It just doesn't stick, really. It's not distracting, it's not bad, but compared to the, like, gut-wrenching scream her mother, like, erupts with when, spoiler alert, you know, that happens. I'm not going to spoil the movie. You guys, if you've seen it, you know what I'm referring to. Contrasting with how horrific her, like, origin or, like, backstory is that we're shown in the movie. She's far too chirpy and upbeat, in my opinion. Yes, we're trying to get away from the DC is the dark and dingy, you know, adult version and blah, blah, blah. We're trying to get away from that, I understand. I do think this movie would have benefited from a more serious tone. That's kind of the point of her character, from what I gathered in this one, as in this version of the character, is that Superman, is that Clark is the upbeat optimist, you know, almost to a point where he can be seen as naive, whereas Kara is like, as she says, she sees that he sees the good in everyone. I see the truth. She's meant to be more of a pessimist, a bit more judgmental, a bit more just overall beaten down by her past and what's went on in her life. And even through all that, we as the audience empathize, yet it's like, she's just not like, oh, I like her. She didn't win me over like I wanted her to. That, like, scene where she emerges with the suit on, I get we needed that for the movie. You know, Supergirl has to wear the friggin' Supergirl costume felt really unearned, I guess. I like playing around with the different solar categories that they did, like the opening is on like a planet with a red sun, and then there's the yellow sun, and then there's the end where it orbits around a green sun. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought it was just kryptonite. I didn't realize it was the color green. I haven't read the comics, so my bad. That's kind of fucking stupid. Who cares? When she's like crippled by the green sun at the end. I think it would have just made more sense if they landed on there and it changed to the green sun and she just loses her powers. She doesn't get like the fucking kryptonite poisoning. She just loses her powers. But because they're against the clock, she has to, you know, begin to fight the creme de la creme boys powerless. That would have been more interesting to me rather than just like, oh, now she's stuck in a cave for a bit and we need to hand the helm of the movie to Ruthie. So she's paralyzed and she can't fight them at all. I think that would have been much better thematically if the battle was mental rather than physical. If she had to like, oh, I've got to go ahead and fight these guys without my powers, I kind of wish they toyed with that a little bit more in the end, because that was a sort of a running thing. It wasn't a running thing, she didn't have her powers at the start, and she gets her powers, and she's seemingly invincible, and then I think it would have been cool for her powers to have been taken at the end, which they were anyway. The more I sit and ponder on it, the more it feels silly to me, because Krem shoots her with the kryptonite arrows, kind of diminishing her powers anyway. So why didn't they just go with that from the start instead of... I don't fuck. Lobo, not gonna pretend like I've read any comics. In this movie, he was entertaining. Jason Momoa was just doing his best Jack Black impression, and I'm fine with that. In fact, I think it would have been better if we got more of him in the movie, to be honest. Like, he kind of just disappears during the climax of the final act and then reappears once the dust settles. Again, would have been a cool, like, thing to have if Kara didn't have her powers for some of the final battle, for him to, you know, be there, whatever. Main issue with this movie, honestly, is Krem is a pretty major wasted opportunity. Yeah, so apparently he originally looked like this, and they redesigned him to look all grotesque and fucking disgusting, like Darth Maul. Why not go all the way with that? Like, that introductory scene where he like turns on his like breathing apparatus and he's like wheezing, you can really hear it, and there's this tension in the air, like when you hear Darth Vader breathing, there's this tension just fills the scene immediately. It's just this hoarse, like horrendous thing that fills your fucking like brain with these figurative ants of fear and malice. And they only really use it for the opening scene. And then he just turns into like generic, silly sort of fucking... He just very much feels like Ronan from Guardians 1, but like with a kind of like a sense of humor. He's like the worst person you've ever met, and he like kidnaps little girls to make into his brides. And yet he doesn't pimp slap Ruthie when she spits in his face. And you could have done so much more to make him like to make him seem villainous. But he just seems like, again, wasted opportunity. You could have shown him doing more like egregious things, but I guess you can't if you want to keep it 12A, if you want to keep it lighthearted. Again, this movie deals with such dark themes: alcoholism, depression, grief, loss of loved ones, loss of identity, trauma, the R word, which you're not allowed to say, murder. Like point blank, straight up cold-blooded murder, like slitting the throat of a child. And yet, it needs to be kept lighthearted enough so that it's a 12A. I think this movie would have benefited from it just being a little bit more serious.
But she's like, nah, I'm too cool for you, and spends most of her time dicking around on planets with red suns so that she can get drunk and party and look like the kind of girl you'd find passed out in a pool of her own vomit round the back of a nightclub on a Sunday morning. Wow, what an inspirational character. Can't wait to see more of this.
Is her character meant to be inspirational? The whole point of the movie is her kind of coming around to returning to Earth and trying to find her people after she lost her people. Is it expertly done? No. Is it like, could it be better? Yeah. Ruthie has an arc, I guess, you know. I kind of hate the whole fucking revenge is bad thing. I think it's so fucking stupid. Especially for a movie like this, which doesn't take itself seriously in all the wrong ways. Like, let her kill the bad guy. Who gives a fuck? Like for a story like The Last of Us 2, which is so earth-shatteringly grounded and like true to life. Yes, revenge in real life is bad, and murder in real life is bad. Murder in a fucking comic book movie, especially one like this, like, But yeah, this firmly puts me into weary territory. Anything DCU now. At least Kara killed Krem. You know what I mean? Like, at least like she just fucking slotted the sword into his fucking chest. I like that. I like superheroes that don't fuck around. And they actually kill people that need to die. The guy's irredeemable. Yeah, honestly, my head's still kind of scattered about the movie. I don't really want to go see it again, to be honest. I recommend it. Make your own thoughts on it. Don't just be swayed by all the fucking alt-right, faceless commentary channels that just call it slop because it has a female protagonist. I know that's not the only issue with the film. I know the film's not perfect. If you guys have any further thoughts on the movie, I'll reply to anyone in the comments. Just kind of disappointed, you know what I mean? I was optimistic going into the movie, and I feel a bit shortchanged. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned.